And we are live. There we are. There we are. There we are. Hey, what's up, everybody? We had a little technical difficulties, but we are here. What's up? It's Wednesday night. It is Hits and Heels. I have a great guest for you all tonight. Matter of fact, let me share this because you guys are y'all know every week I have somebody just absolutely amazing. And so you guys are getting ready to meet Coach CeJai. And oh, here we are. Here we are. Here we are. And let me share this. We are live. Yeah. So I just shared it.
These are not
And so you guys are this is getting ready to be fun. Because if you guys are tuning in for the first time, y'all know I am Coach Terry Bryant. I coach middle school football with my husband here in Lexington, Kentucky at Crawford Middle School. But I also coach women's tackle football with the Derby City Dynamite out of Louisville, Kentucky. So I'm one of the very few female football coaches across the nation. And when I met Coach CeJai, she coaches football and she coached her two sons. And so we met through a football group that we were kind of both in, and we just kind of just touched base in. And so I just had to have her as a guest on my podcast because there are not too many women that have coached, and she's coached on a college level. And so we're getting ready to hear her story. I got her whole bio on there, but bump her bio. She's getting ready to tell us all about her right now. And we're getting ready to get it in. Coach, welcome to Hits and Heels, and thank you for agreeing to come on.
Thank you so much, Coach Terry, for having me. I really appreciate anytime I have the opportunity to cross paths with another female coach. It empowers me, and it tells me that we have a long way to go. Our work is not done, but we're here. We're here.
Absolutely.
We're doing it. And the great thing about it that we're able to bring to football is empathy and compassion, because sometimes male coaches will just tell you, get out there, hit and hit and hit and hit and hit. But we'll look at a kid, see his eyes, and tell this kid is not ready. And a kid that plays scared is a liability on the field because he will get other kids hurt, harmed, or injured. So we'll read body language sometimes with the little small nuances that make a difference, but can make a game, make a player, make a day.
Absolutely. When I'm coaching with my husband, sometimes I'm like, babe, can you just break it down just a little bit more? Because I just don't think that they're getting it. Right. And so sometimes, he gets a little frustrated because he's used to being a high school coach. And so now we step down to the middle school level. And so sometimes you forget that they don't know what they don't know. And sometimes even as a female, I'm like, okay, I didn't get what you just said. So, and I'm looking at the deer in the headlights that they're looking at, and they're scared to ask questions. And so can you just break it down just a little bit more, and even on my women's team, on my women's team, it's like that. We have to coach them like they're, again, beginners or like on the pee-wee level, because they don't know the game, because they're just now picking up, being able to put on pads and being able to go there. So you have to break it down just a little bit more. So start from the beginning. How did you even get into coaching football?
Oh my goodness, my story goes all the way back really to my college days. When I was in college, I was a professional cheerleader in college. Well, I was a collegiate cheerleader. Then I was a professional cheerleader with the Lakers for a season. So I was a Laker girl.
I'm a Laker fan. I'm a Laker fan. So yeah.
Yes. and I was an after school playground supervisor. So I had a group of kids, and LA Unified School District was starting up flag football where the kids could go to different schools and play. And normally there were the kids that were too big that wouldn't make weight, and they couldn't play in a Pop Warner program. So I scrapped up a couple of them and said, come on, let's put us a team together. So I literally took out the books. I tried to learn. I knew the game because I'd been a cheerleader. I knew the difference between offense and defense. I knew the positions. I know what coordinators do. But as you were saying, to really be able to teach the fundamentals, sometimes you have to break it down in the simplest form. And so I would tell, even at the when I was with the Snoop League, the head coaches would get out there and tell kids, and then kids are looking like, okay, but what does a center do? And so I broke it down into small pieces like the center is the one that stands in the middle. And it's very, very important. The whole game centers around them. And if they're not in their position, and if they don't release the ball, nothing happens. And then after you have the center, so then I went through and told them, you have the guards, and their job is to guard the quarterbacks. You have one on each side of the center. So their job is to guard. And then defense, these are the ones, so I broke down in little bitty pieces so they at least knew what an offensive line, a basic, offensive line should look like. And one of the things that I had in the Snoop League, the first, I'm not going to tell that story. I'm not going to tell that story. But let's just say I met quite a bit of opposition when I was in the Snoop League, to the point that when I became a head coach, I hired somebody on my staff that was a friend of another coach that was on my staff, because he gave me the recommendation. And the guy that I'd hired on my staff, he was he played semi-pro football just before. He'd never coached kids before, but he played semi-pro. So after I talked to him and interviewed him, I knew that he had I felt that he had the patience to work with children, because my outcome has never been about wins and losses. It's about, did you have fun? Did you have a good time? Did you learn something? Did you get inspired? Are you coming back? Have to. And this particular coach, I didn't know that he resented the fact that I was a woman coaching football. And we got into an altercation at one point where he actually took off his shirt, threw his keys on the ground, and he squared up with me. I was like, wow, we're really taking it there. I stepped back because I'm a second-degree black belt in Taekwondo. Yeah, I'm a second-degree black belt in Taekwondo. So I took a step back and anchored myself. I'm like, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this. So then my assistant head coach stopped him, and they ended up the administration ended up clearing him off the field. But then they admonished me and told me, that's because you're a woman. You shouldn't be out here in the first place. I'm like, you guys don't understand. Coaching is teaching. And the first person to teach a child is the mother. You can't tell me they're not. You can't tell me. I've run across so many men that have stopped, that actually cried, thanked me for being out there, have came to tears and said they wish that their mothers could have had the same opportunity, or they would have pushed, or the world would have been ready. I want to know about you, Terry. What makes you do what you do?
Oh my God. Sports saved my life. So, that's just, I think, where my passion for sports comes from, because sports saved my life. If I didn't have sports growing up, I would have been, I probably would have committed suicide. Everybody has a story. I'm not going to get in depth with it, but I mean, that's just the gist of it. I mean, so, you just go through some things, through trauma as a child. And luckily I was blessed with athletic ability. So I was always the fastest. I was always the most athletic, and, growing up, and I was good. And so because of sports, I was able to kind of channel some things mentally, and use sports as that outlet to kind of help me navigate through life. And then in high school, I think I tore my ACL my freshman year in high school. And then that was when I started just kind of really just dealing with adversity, because that hindered me getting scholarship offers. I remember all the letters and stuff coming in, but I don't remember a lot of the offers, and I don't remember the whole recruiting process. Now that I sit back and think about it, as I see my son go through the recruiting process, and I reflect back on my recruiting process, now I'm like, okay, I wish I'd known what I know, because my parents had no idea about what that looked like, because they weren't collegiate athletes. And so my husband, being who played at the University of Kentucky, had offers galore across the nation. We were able to help our son navigate through that process. Whereas I wish I would have had that. And so now that's kind of where my passion is now, as far as coaching. I don't know if there's other kids that are like me that where sports ended up being something that just helped me to navigate who I am. I think I've been around, of course, I've been in corporate America, and I can tell my supervisors that played sports as opposed to those that did not. There's like a huge difference in the mindset, in my coworkers that I've had to deal with, or just people in general that played sports as opposed to those that don't play sports. There is a huge just a disconnect with people that don't play sports. And and I'm not trying to down people that don't play sports or that didn't have the ability, because some people just don't have the
Right.
just didn't have the given ability to play a sport or to be good. They just didn't have it, and that just wasn't their calling or whatever, I guess, so to speak. But being able to participate in sports just gives you a different outlook on life. It gives you a different perspective on life. It just I I can't explain it. So that's where mine came from. So that's why I was just so when I came across you, I'm not gonna lie. And then when you sent me your bio, I was just blown away with just all the accolades that you were able to do as far as, and I love how you helped your two sons get D1 offers, because there's a lot of
Oh my
moms
God, yes,
that have no idea, especially if you're a single mom, have no idea how to navigate through that process. And right now, I've had several calls just in the last couple of weeks
man.
they're like, Terry, we're getting ready to go on this official visit. What does that mean? We're getting, we got this offer. What is that? I mean, we don't even know what that means. And so just being able to sit down and have a conversation with them about the process of, hey, what are the offers? What does he want to do? What does he want to be? What career path does he want to go? So first you want to see whether or not that's a fit, because you want both of them you want it to benefit you. Don't just take an offer just because it's an offer. Is it a committable offer? You need to know the difference between a committable offer and a non-committable offer. Where is he on the depth chart? Where, I mean, there's so many things that we don't, I mean, not just even as a woman, but or as a mom, but even as dads that might have only played high school sports and didn't go to the next level. They have no idea what this process is. And it's, and now that NIL is here, there's just so many opportunities for these kids and to go to the next level. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Tell me, how did you get to the point where you were coaching your son? I want to talk about you.
Oh, okay. I started coaching them while they're in the Snoop League. One was at a clinic, and one was clinic, and the other one was at Pee Wee. So they were
young,
7 and 10 when I started coaching them. So I coached them all through the Snoop League until they got to high school, and then I coached them through high school, and then I did recruitment one-on-one. You brought up a lot of good points, because a lot of some kids will receive a letter from UCLA saying, "Hey, how you doing?" And they'll say, "Oh, they're recruiting me, and that's not the process at all. So I put together a recruitment packet where I package each of these kids. I look at what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. I put together their transcripts, their letters of recommendation, their films. So I packaged them in such a way. But what's more important is that I developed coaching, professional recruiting relationships with over 300 programs. I was reaching out to programs I had a scale sheet where every single day I'm hitting up 25 programs, at least 25, and introducing myself, saying, "Hey, this is what we have right here. These are our top. These are their GPA when you come out here," because it's the last 2 weeks in April and the full month of May where coaches are actually able to come on campus and speak with children, with the students directly. Otherwise, it's not approved by the NC2A. Right. So I knew that they come out. But our particular school, because we were at a private all boys school in Watts, we were like in the heart of the ghetto, and people were not necessarily coming. Who's coming to a private Catholic school to look for little black boys? They
Nobody.
weren't. So I had to recreate a buzz for them. And by the time I got that buzz going, I was having between 60 to 80 coaches from Division coming on campus, pulling these kids out to take a look at them. And once I developed that, it continued with me. So when I went over to the college, I was coaching at a junior college. So when I was at the junior college, all those relationships, when they came to town, they're like, hey, Coach CeJai, I'm in town right now. I went to the school, you're not there. I'm like, oh no, I'm about 3 miles down the street. I'm at the junior college. Or I start telling them too. So I was able to get my junior college kids into Division I programs as well. And that's very beneficial, because I always stress to the kids that you are more than 4 quarters. At some point, this game is going to come to an end, and your education is your A game. Your B plan is the sports. It might take you there, it may not. You may get injured, but don't put all of your eggs in that direction. You need to understand that running for master down the field, or down the court, or down the track is only going to take you so far. Master gonna eat whether you run or not. He's gonna replace you the day you come out of your jersey. He's already recruiting to put somebody else back into it. So you have to have a mindset of being more than 4 quarters. You don't limit yourself at just one. And even if you make the league, you got what, a 3 to 6 year average.
3 to 6 year, yeah.
The money you're gonna run through is you have to have a plan as your education to decide. And I'm not necessarily saying go to college so you can go get a good job. I'm thinking at this point, go to college so you can create a business opportunity for yourself, because there's so much that you can do with entrepreneurship and teaching yourself. As you said, you worked in corporate, I worked in corporate. It's real easy to tell who's never been on a team, because those that have played in some form of team work, they work with you, they work together, they're stronger. They have abilities to think outside of the box. They can think creatively on their feet in the last minute, because all the same tools that you use in sports, particularly in football, are transferable to real life, transferable to work.
Yes. And when you don't, and when you haven't done that, it's so obvious. So how did you get to the college level?
Go ahead.
How long ago? So when you got to the college level? Nope. I mean, I'm like, how come I haven't heard about you? Because obviously there are not too many females that are coaching on the college level.
Isn't that amazing that you haven't heard too much about me? Isn't that utterly amazing?
Why haven't I heard about you?
I was reading something on the internet one day, and they were talking about a woman that started coaching at the colleges in like maybe 2019 or 2020. I was like, no, but I've been coaching at the college since 2017, so I was ahead of her. I am the very first woman in the state of California to coach on a varsity staff. I'm one of the first women in the nation to coach football on any collegiate level, but I'm feminine. And I'm gonna sit it right there, because that's exactly where it belongs. I even at one point I went through the Bill Walsh Diversity in Coaching, and it's a program that's set up by the NFL for women to have an opportunity to coach in the NFL, where you put together your package, you apply for it, and then it's in a portal, and in the portal, teams can look at you. But if you have relationships like I have, I was calling out to those that I already knew, because I have a pretty big network.
Okay.
And so I was able to get myself hired. Well, when I spoke with the NFL women's coordinators directly, they told me that my application was one of the weakest ones that they had ever seen. And
you were already coaching at the junior college level? Okay, there's no women coaching high school and there's no women coaching college. You were doing both, and you were one of the weakest. So And
that was me exactly, because they have
okay.
every year in the month of January, they have a conference for women that aspire to coach in the NFL. And so after looking at this conference run every year, and I'm applying directly to the conference, I'm like, how come I can't get an invitation? It's by selection. But
Yes.
then I realized I'm Black, I'm more on the feminine side, and I'm not coming in there as a trainer. So the women that they were hiring to coach in the Bill Walsh program in the summer were usually physical trainers, physical fitness, very manly. There's no other way to call it.
Okay.
And in that pool, I was the only one that was like a mother with a kid. So they're looking for women that were more masculine, but a masculine woman is going to bring to the sport the same thing that a masculine man brings, but a woman that knows how to relate to everybody, male and female, straight and gay, is going to be more compassionate. As I was saying earlier, it's going to look you in the eyes. They're going to lean. They're going to say, "Are you okay?" Then they're going to lean in and ask you, "Okay, now are you really okay?"
Okay.
It's just a different vibe. So because of my relationships, I was able to actually get hired by the 49ers.
Okay.
Because I have a relationship with somebody in their upper management. And just as they'd given me the offer, and I was like, yes, I could do it. Yes. And I was at my son's, he was graduating with his master's from the University of Texas at that time. And my mom had a stroke. That was absolutely devastating. And so I was not in a position to be able to take advantage of that opportunity. So at that point, and then COVID came around. And so I stepped away from the field, but not out of the game. So I still consult. I still do recruitment. I still get quite a few telephone calls of parents saying, "Hey, I was given your telephone number by somebody that says that you might be able to help my kid." And I do a real assessment. I'll come out and really assess your kid and see what's there. What is their footwork like? What are their fundamental skills? What are the GPAs? What is their personality? Are they coachable? Are they trainable? You know, because you can have all the talent in the world, but if you're not coachable, you're not trainable, I can't do anything for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't do anything for you.
Absolutely. Well, that is, I mean, it's so funny because my husband is a 49ers fanatic. Oh my God. So yeah, he would love to be connected to anything with the 49ers.
I was so looking forward to that. And who knows?
Maybe, yeah, who knows? Maybe
ever slows down, I might go for it again. But right now,
just doing
because I still have the energy and the willpower. I'm still in the gym every morning. I hate going to the gym, but I get up every morning and go. Well, Monday through Friday, I don't do weekends, but I'm still in the gym. So I still have the physical agility. I still have the ability. I still have the desire, but I have other things going on in my life that are equally important, that can move the needle, not just for football, but for Black people. From now
but
and
you're
for
okay,
for a lifetime.
But I love that you said that. But just like you said,
I enjoyed coaching my sons too, and it's especially my younger son, the one that played in Texas.
You're cut. Okay, I don't know if it's me, but you're cutting in and out. Hold on. I don't know if it's me on my end or whatever. You're cutting in
now. I can hear you now.
Okay, so
I can hear you now.
Okay, so your son, you got one at Texas, and the other one was
TCU.
Okay, the frog one.
Yeah, so they both played in the Big 12.
In the Big 12.
Huh?
In the Big 12.
Yeah, they both played in the Big 12. And we used to chant to each other more than 4 quarters when the two teams played each other, and we always did a traditional picture at the 50-yard line. And on the days when they played each other, my shirt on the back would just have my last name. I couldn't put a number on there or push for either one because they're playing each other at the 50. And they had an opportunity in high school to play. They played in high school with each other for 2 years too.
Okay.
So it's really great. And my baby, he and I, we have a ritual. And it's funny too, because to this day, when we step on a field, he refers to me as Coach CeJai. He still calls me Coach CeJai if we're in that capacity.
Right.
And he and I
He
have
doesn't call you
a
mom.
ritual where pre-game, I have a tradition where I walk from end zone to end zone praying. And I'm praying not for victory, but I'm praying for safety for all of these children, that an angel covers a hedge over them, so no hurt, no harm, no injury, that they'll be fed today, that they'll be sheltered today, that they'll be taken care of today. So I pray.
So, Mr. Brown, are you able to see me okay? Or I'm not sure where the technical difficulties is coming from on my end. I just there she is. She's back. Yeah, I
Okay,
don't.
are you
It's just
here?
cutting it out. Yeah, I see you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
From the
Yeah, I
west
can't.
coast to, from the west coast to the east coast,
It's the
just
West
trying
Coast and East Coast.
to
Yeah.
light.
So for those, yeah, she's all the way in California and I'm in Kentucky. So it's technology. So y'all just gonna have to just bear with us with this technology today. So we'll get that. So anyway, so you just answered Mr. Brown's question. He just said how difficult to keep your kids safe and guarded against gang affiliation in that region.
Again, just as you said, football saved our lives, because they were playing football in most of these areas, they got a pass. Somebody sees them with their pads on and with their helmet and their equipment, and they'll look and say, and they would turn around and say, "Oh no, I don't gang bang. I just play football." When somebody said, "Well, what set you from? Who you represent?" "Oh no, I just play football. I just play football." And some of them see that you playing. I used to play and I always wanted to, but I got tied up in this gang stuff, so I'm not able to. As a matter of fact, the park that we used to practice at in the Snoop League was in a blood neighborhood, and we were our youth team was the Southern California Falcons. So our colors were red and black. I see your red and black. Our colors were red and black, and so we had coaches that were previously gang members of that organization that went to the current members. And
So y'all just bear with us. She's on the West Coast and we're just having some technical difficulties with the thing. Hey Cynthia, I see you, Mr. Brown. Thank you for coming on. Hey Cynthia, we'll just be patient and she'll be right back on and we'll figure this whole technology thing out today. So anyway, so we're on with Coach CeJai Taylor, and she has a Juris Doctorate. She has. Are you on? You try probably just on your phone.
if I have to, I will.
Yeah.
I
So
will if I have to. If it goes out again, then I'll try it on my phone.
just try it on your phone. Yeah. So
So
hey Susan. Oh, there's
so
Susan. Susan's on.
try it on
The
my
head
phone.
of the female. No, I was just saying hello to Susan. She's the one that's she's the one that created that women's football group that we're all in, that we met in. I love that they're. Are you going to their event in August
Oh, okay.
in Atlanta? Yeah, they got that event in Atlanta. Oh yeah, and then my girl Cynthia, she has her own podcast called Sports Sense, and she's on too. So yeah. So go ahead about the go ahead about what you were saying. Yeah, what you were saying. You were talking about the gang members that had were just there.
Basically, they gave us a pass, and they saw to it that we were safe and secure every single night. And the one time that they knew that they were going to be having a big gang picnic or a barbecue or something, they told us, "Hey, your team can't practice today and tomorrow, because we're going to have some people up here and we partying and kids don't need to see it." And we were respectful. We're like, "Well, we won't be practicing the rest of the week. We just gonna go to the game on Saturday." So there is a dynamic to it. There's definitely a dynamic to it. But football gave us life. It gave us an opportunity that when my car moved, everybody moved. And my daughter, she was a cheerleader, and when she aged out of being a cheerleader, she became a cheer trainer. So every Saturday, I would get a whole roasted chicken, a loaf of bread, some Gatorade, because we knew the youngest, his game was going to start at 10, and the oldest, his game would start at 5. So we knew all day long we were going to be at football, and and it brought us together. It brought us closer together. It actually brought us through something, because I'm a survivor of domestic violence. My ex-husband never laid a hand on me, but he threatened to kill me a lot. He threatened to kill the kids. He left dead animals on top of my car. He had my house that I'm in now shot up. So we knew, particularly it was really important for my sons, that from 5 to 7, a couple of days a week, they had male mentors around them. And to this day, they still have excellent relationships with their mentors, and they've been able to mentor other young men. So my sons have had a wonderful life, and they're very, very thankful that their mom was their first football coach. So they will sometimes introduce me to people as their, again, depending on what it is. Sometimes I'm their mother, sometimes I'm their mother, the attorney, and sometimes I'm their football coach. It really.
Hey, Mr. Brown, you're right. That signature question was already called. Yeah, she already. I didn't. She brought it on early with saying about the domestic violence is being her being a survivor, that she's already had kind of have mentioned that. So Susan, hey, how are you? So yeah, so you guys, we're just gonna be a little bit patient today. My guest is on the West Coast, and so she's in California, and so we're just gonna just work through this whole technical difficulty stuff, and we're just gonna work through it. It's, just be patient with us, because this is a great conversation.
We're just gonna roll through. We're gonna roll with it.
Gonna keep just rolling with. Yes, we just gonna keep rolling with it. So Mr. Brown asked, are you connected to any because you were in the Snoop League, were you connected to any celebrities, and who was your favorite NFL player?
Yes, I'm connected to a lot of celebrities. I'm in LA. I know everybody.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'm doing this interview with you, but I'm supposed to be at a movie premiere for a movie that I'm in tonight at 7.
Well, what movie are you in?
And it's called "Put the Guns Down: A World Epidemic."
Oh wow!
And it talks about violence, death, what caused gang to start gang banging as it is. So you guys can look it up. Whoever, it's called "Put the Guns Down: A World Epidemic," and you can probably pull up the trailer. You can't pull up the movie because we're just now getting it out. But and it's narrated by Ice-T.
Okay.
So Chili Chill from the Lynch Mob, he's in it. Spice One, the rapper Cocaine. Is about 20 rappers that are in it. So do I know anybody? I know everybody. Who you want to know? And of course, I know Snoop.
Right.
Of course, I know Coach.
Right. So I love it.
And my favorite, my favorite all-time football player, but it's totally for personal reasons. It ain't got nothing to do with how great he is, but he is great. Is Ray Lewis. I love me some Ray Lewis. He is my imaginary baby daddy.
Right.
That's it. That's all I have to say about that.
Now, I don't remember, who's your favorite team?
Now, if I were to talk about some of my favorite up and coming football players, or those that have recently, because I can talk about some that I've coached in the NFL. Huh?
Who have you coached?
Yeah, I said I can talk about some that I've coached that made it to the NFL. That still give shout outs to Coach CeJai when they do interviews. They'll talk about the female coach that they had. Yeah.
Okay. And that's what I look forward to. I look forward to some
Ayers.
of the kids.
He first came out with the Rams. Akeem Ayers. He came out of UCLA, and I got him the scholarship. So he came out of UCLA, and then he played for the Rams.
Okay.
I coach. Let me see. Ladarius Wiley. He came out of Vanderbilt, and then played for Tennessee Jaguars.
Okay.
Shay Fields, I got him out of Colorado, and he played. Shay got picked up. I have to think about who he got picked up with, but he's now playing in the arena league that they have. But
Okay.
so I've coached a couple of Jabril Frazier, who came out of Boise State, who got picked up by Denver Broncos, and then he got injured in his first season. So now he's coaching at the Orange and Blue, Idaho. I think it's Idaho. Yeah. So
Well,
I've coached
I'm
a
not.
few.
I'm
I've
not gonna
coached,
lie.
like I
I'm
said,
really
I've helped
disappointed
over 600 kids get out of high school into college
into
playing
college.
sports. Not everybody went D1.
Right.
They may
And that's
not
okay that
everybody
they
got a
don't go
D1
D1.
scholarship, but everybody got a D1 education.
And I think that that's one of the things that a lot of parents don't understand is every kid is not a D1 player, and D1 is not. It's not always D1 or bust. If you
No,
can
it's
just
not
you just want to get a free education, free.
free.
You want a free
And again,
education.
it's just my personal feeling, but I think every child born in America with the with as black, Negro, or African American stamped on their birth certificate are inadvertently suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. As a result, they should go to college for free. So I fight like heck to make sure
Mm.
every kid that approaches me, every parent that approaches me, your kid goes to college for free. I don't think we should have to pay for education.
I don't think education we should have to pay for education either. I don't think so either.
We shouldn't have
Yeah.
we shouldn't have to pay. That's something that we're owed. That's
Yeah.
part of our reparation package. That's something that we're owed. And when people say, "Well, you never suffered from it, so I don't understand," that because it's not for you to understand.
Okay. Is that okay? Let's back up again. So everybody, if y'all saw her, if y'all saw her bio, she is a lawyer. Are you a lawyer or an attorney?
Same thing.
Same thing. Okay. So she has her Juris Doctorate. So what made you go that route? After I just heard what you just said,
Because I saw a need. I really appreciated what when my sons got of age where they wanted to play football. I went to a Pop Warner program in my city that's very popular that all the kids in their school were playing for. And I said, "Oh, I want to sign my kids up, and how much does it cost?" And I think they told me it was somewhere between $600 and $800. And I was like, "Oh, I don't have that." And I certainly don't have that twice. And even if I do have that, that money needs to go on something else. I just can't do it. Basketball for the YMCA for that year while I was going to figure things out. So that same year, he was starting a football league. And I said, let me keep an eye on it. So when he announced his league, he said that he was going to charge $100 for the first kid, $50 for the second kid, free for the third kid, and provide all of the equipment, all the training. All the parents had to do was sign the waivers and show up. I was like, "Oh, I can afford this. This I can
right.
afford." And when I talked to my son about it, he was so anxious to want to do it that he literally started collecting bottles in the neighborhood. He didn't have to, but this is just him because he wanted to feel that he was contributing because he knew when they said that $600 to $800, mommy wasn't going to do that. But he collected bottles and came up with a portion of his funds, and he was insistent that I use his money, pay with his money first before I added my money to it to play football, because that's where his integrity is. And football was a safe way for them to be. It is just standing on the sideline. I saw the coach coaching, and I could see one kid, and I'll never forget this one kid. He used to play in the park every day. And then at the end of practice, he would go climb into a van that was parked next door in a library with his father. And I was like, wow, this kid is out here and he's playing with the kids, but when practice starts, he just stands on the side of the fence. So I went over to the side of the fence one day before practice. I said, how come you're not on the team? He said, well, no, I got to ask my dad. I said, well, can you catch or can you throw? He said, I don't know. Nobody ever really threw the ball to me. I said, oh, okay. I said, move back a little bit. So I threw the ball to him and he caught it. I threw it a little further and he caught it. Now he's at a distance where my arm is not that strong. I can't throw the ball, so I'm scooping it, throwing it, and he catches it. And I say, throw it back. And each time he threw it back with just a perfect swirl on it, just perfect. Right. I was like, this is our quarterback right here. And I talked to his dad. I said, his name is Christian Pope. That's his name, Christian Pope. And I asked his dad, how come he's not playing? His dad said, you see that van right there? I said, yeah. He said, we live in it. So I don't have the money. I said, if I pay for him to play football, will you allow him to play? And he said, yeah, I'll let him play. Are y'all going to give him everything like you're giving all the other kids? You're not going to make him feel different? I said, absolutely. So I went to the administrators and said, hey, I got this kid. He lives in this van over here, and I'm going to pay for his fees. I'll pay like in a week or so. I'm not paying for it right now, but and they were like, don't worry about it. We got him. You ain't got to worry about it. So it gave me a idea that there were kindred hearts, more people that felt like I did. And then the more I showed up to the field, the more I saw needs. I had one kid on my team. I had to learn sign language because he was deaf and he was mute, but I didn't know he was also autistic. So I didn't learn that until the end of camp. By then, he on my team. Let's play. Let's go. But I learned enough sign language to be able to get him to do what it is he needed to do. I had another one whose mother was an active prostitute, and she would drop him off at practice. And sometimes she get him on time. Sometimes she don't. I had 2 or 3 that lived in homeless shelters with their mother. I had one. He would ask me all the time, can we come home with you? He would say, can I come home with you guys? Can I come home with you guys? I used to drop him off. But by that time, he was probably 13 and his mother was probably 27. And I would drop him off, knew what I was dropping him off into, but the most I could do was just take him. So it was because I saw a need, just like in the high school program. How much more time we got? Okay, I can do this in 2 minutes. At the high school, I had a quarterback out there, and he was out there and he got hit. And when he got hit, the head coach wanted to send him back in. I was like, I think you need to sit him out just a little bit longer, because he kept grabbing at his stomach. So I asked him, I said, well, baby, what's wrong? He said, my stomach hurt. And I was like, well, you got to go use the bathroom, or, what's up? And he said, no, it just hurt. I said, well, what did you eat for lunch? And he told me he ate a pack of hot Cheetos. And I said, you haven't eaten since lunch, and what you ate was a pack of hot Cheetos? I told the security guard to run up there and grab him some wieners and a cup of noodle, grab a Gatorades so he can eat. So I told the head coach, I said, he ain't going back in. Send somebody else. Right. But it bothered me. So on the bus ride home, I'd asked the kids that we won that game. It was a good team that we hadn't won the whole time I had been there, and we beat Bosco Tech. And I asked them all what they ate for dinner before they, got ready for the game. Not one single kid on the bus had eaten anything. And it pricked my spirit in such a way that within the next week, I had set up a meal program to feed them every single day after practice. And if they got a little sister or a little brother in the parking lot, we feed them too. And if it's food left, I give it to the mamas and put it in Ziploc and say, take it home. Don't tell nobody I gave you food. Right. So to this day, since 2014 until now, I implemented a food program that feeds at least 100 kids a day, 6 days a week. And it's still going on. I'm not even at the school anymore, but I still make sure these babies get fed. And good food too. Good food too. So, you get in where you fit in. I saw there was a need. It wasn't my ego. It wasn't me saying, yes, women can do it too. It wasn't even about me. It was about there was a need, and I had the ability to get that need met.
Mm-hmm. My husband gets so mad at me when I'm taking kids home or or they need a ride, or because I know what it's like to be a single mom, and you're trying to work and you're trying to be at different places, and he gets so frustrated with me, and I'm like, I'm going to go pick him up, or I'm going to take him home, because we get it. Again, I think that's the part where I think a lot of the guys are missing the boat with having a female on their staff, because we do have that a different perspective, because there are way more single moms than there are single dads, and dads tend to be in a better position than the moms are. And I think that I think that's just something that maybe guys don't take into consideration. But I don't know if it's an intimidation factor of us being there because they think we don't know the game, or it's hard for us to learn the game. It's not. I know the game. That's the reason why my husband put me on his staff. A lot of people thought that it was a gimmick when he put me on his staff, because they were like, my wife knows football.
Come on.
And so then and we've been to we went 5 seasons, and we've been in 3 championship games with a new team every year. And it's just, it speaks for itself. This is my third sport my third sport where I've been in championships. I have 2 state championship teams. I have, I've coached other teams into championships. And there's a reason why he brought me on there. And so just, so even on the women's team, the male coaches still have to kind of get used to me. And, and so I just, give my input. And if they take my input, they do. And they don't. I try to coach my team up the way that they can. But I do feel, I do feel like there needs to be more women coaching male sports, because there are plenty of men coaching women's sports. I think there's too many, so I would like to see more women coaching women's sports, but I would also like to see more women coaching men's sport, especially football. And we don't all have, and we can still be feminine and still coach the game. That's, we can still be feminine. Because when I'm on the gut, my hair is out and I got my makeup on. I'm a female. I'm 100% female when I am on the field, and you can see it whether I'm on coaching my women's team.
That's right. Monday through Friday,
LGBTQ.
Monday through Friday, I got on a baseball cap, no makeup, big t-shirts. But game day, you're gonna know I'm out there because I know the cameras is somewhere. Somebody gonna catch me, and you're not gonna catch me slipping. I'm gonna always keep it cute, always. And I want to commend you for being out there, being with your husband. I know that it has to keep the family stronger and tighter, and I think it's beautiful. Your son will look back at it and say, you know what, my mom was my football coach, and he will entertain many conversations about the fact that he's able to have his parents out there with him. And for you, like your show, I will definitely start tuning in on Wednesdays when I'm in town and when I'm available. But I would definitely follow, and I would like to, one of my groups, I'd like to I'll get your information, and I'll post it in one of my groups, one of my social activist groups, so they can look. And everybody in that group, they all know I coach too. And I have like there's one, my coaching mentor. He's done I think this time last year, he had 4 television shows on at the same time. He did several seasons of Last Chance U. He had a movie out called Freeway Cracking the System. And did you see the show Snowfall?
I did not. I'm not a TV person. If it's not a game.
Did you see the television show Snowfall?
I did not. I'm not a TV person unless I'm watching a game. Okay, I haven't heard that one. Okay.
There's a television show called Snowfall.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It was about drugs and how the drug game got started in LA. And there's a character on that show named Leon that's based off of his life. And it was a show that started off, it was a show by John Singleton. And so it's based off. So he's my mentor. And I, again, for the college, when the college coach got hired, he got hired, and LA Times announced his hire. The next day he called me and said, I've heard a lot about you. I understand that you know how to recruit. I understand that you've been a defensive coordinator. You've been a JV head coach. Will you come have a conversation with me? Because I'm trying to fill up my staff and you're my first call. I was like, you didn't say nothing. And he played for, let's see, he graduated from UNLV. He played for the San Diego Chargers and the Saints.
Okay.
And he was a head coach at the community college. I was his first call. That's the first person he wanted on his roster. I can think about other coaches like Coach Sarkisian that he was at Washington. He got hired over at USC, and now he's the head coach at
Texas.
And now he's the head coach at University of Texas. I had T. Martin that won a national championship with Tennessee. He called me one day. He said, CeJai, where you at? I said, I'm at home. He said, I got somebody in the car with me. I just picked up from the airport, and he says he wants to come and meet you. And I was like, okay, I'm at the house. Come through. And I came out when T pulled up into my driveway. I walked out. Steve Sarkisian, who just got hired from USC, didn't even go to USC. He went from the airport and came to my house first to meet me. He said, I've heard a lot about you. I've known about you. I just had to come and shake your hand. I'm like, whoa, I must be somebody. Look who's in. And I don't get geeked out a lot because in my head, I am my own superstar because God is first. So I don't geeked out a lot. But when you have head coaches of that caliber,
absolutely, that know who you are, that's big time. That's big time.
Yeah, that's fun stuff. So when you ask me, do I know any?
I love it. I love it. Now I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna tell you who I want on my podcast is Steve's wife. I want his wife on my podcast. I want Coach Sark's wife on my podcast as a guest. His wife. Yeah,
I'm gonna see if I can make it happen.
Yeah, she's bad. That's who I've been wanting on my podcast.
She is.
She's bad.
I'm gonna see if I can have that happen for you. You know what? I'll reach out to him and see if I can have it happen for you.
Yeah, that's who I want. Now we play. Now we play down there. If I can't have her, I want to be able to meet her. But we play. Kentucky plays down there, so we're down there the 22nd of November. I think we play Texas. At Texas,
22nd of November. That's around Thanksgiving.
I think it's that weekend.
Let's keep in contact with each other. I'll see if I can make that happen. I think that's just going to be 1 or 2 phone calls for me, and I think I can make that happen for you. As a matter of fact, I'm like in the 90% range. I can make that happen for you.
Yeah. I would love to just meet her in person, and I would love to have her on my podcast. But because she just you could just the stuff that she does, and I don't know. I'm just she's one of those people that I just want to meet because I just love her story, or I want to hear her story.
It's like it's like that. It's like that.
Yeah, I want to hear her story. I want to hear her story. Yeah, absolutely.
That pretty brown don't hurt.
Yeah, T. Martin. Yeah, I love, and so that's where I'm trying to go, again, just trying to
T is my boy. I call him right now.
Yeah, I'd love to have him on. Say, what's up? Yeah, ask him if he'll come on and be a guest. I'll create a date. It don't even have to be on a Wednesday. Is he still with the Ravens as a quarterback coach, isn't he? Is he still a quarterback coach for the Ravens?
No, he's a wide receiver coach.
Wide receiver coach. Okay, gotcha. Okay, yeah. So we're good. So I want to go back to there's so many aspects of your life that we're getting ready to run out of time. We're probably going to have to do a part B with you so that everybody can get to know you again. Okay, so everybody. So she is a lawyer. She's a football coach. She coached JV. She coached high school. She coached a junior college. She also coached her 2 sons. One of her sons is getting ready to get his doctorate degree. You got a daughter. Your daughter's a nurse, right? And then your other son is Oh my God, he's in the political range.
He's in the Biden-Harris administration.
Yes.
He's a presidential appointee to the Secretary of Education.
How about that? Right. And so you have raised 3 amazing kids. So he probably knows my cousin. So I have a cousin that's she works she's a law enforcement and she works at the White House. So they probably know each other. And
yeah, because our little chocolate chips be recognizing each other. Like,
they know each other.
Hey, I see you.
Yeah. And, you know, and she's law enforcement and she, you know, she's federal and she works at the White House as well. So they probably have ran into each other.
She probably know my baby. He's for his little son, he's 27 and he a little heavyweight. When I Google my son, when I want to keep up with him, I Google him and see what the world is saying about him today. He's the baby. Chase Moore. You guys Google Chase Moore White House. Moore. Just
at the White House and pull him up. Okay. Okay. House. I'll definitely ask when I get off, I'll definitely text my cousin and ask him had she met him.
He bad.
Yeah. But you're a celebrity. Bad. Like, you know, all these celebrities, but you're a celebrity. Like, I'm not understanding why you're not a household name. PhD. You should be a household name. I'm mad that I had to learn about you through a group. You know, so I'm thankful against you know, I mean,
and I've done
Susan, thank you for creating your group. I love it.
Yeah, I've done quite a bit, and not just on the West Coast, but
yeah. Well, I love your story.
Thank you for having me on your show.
I appreciate you coming on and introducing yourself to everybody. I wish the technology would have acted a little bit better for us today, but that's okay. I think everybody, you know, so is there anything? So
thank you for having
Mr. Brown me. Yes. So I'm gonna wrap it up, and I hate that I gotta wrap it up.
We'll have a better connection
here, and we can talk for probably another 2-3 hours, probably. And so, but you got to get to your premiere. Is there anything that you would like to say that you have never been able to say publicly that you would like to address right now?
There is actually. I want to personally that I would like to address. No, there's literally a book. My son is a New York Times best-selling author. He has a book called A Dream Too Big: The Improbable trip from Compton to Oxford. So Michael Strahan has talked about it. I mean, so my life literally is an open book. But what I would like to say to parents is to be very intentional and present in parenting your children. Put your phone down. Listen to your children. Be very intentional. You choose their friends. You choose who they go with. If you want to see your child from the womb to the tomb, be intentional in their life. Be intentional parenting. Be present. That's what I would like to say.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Cynthia, what conference are you talking about? Which conference in New Orleans? There's a couple of conferences. I know there's one. Swing Cash is doing a conference. I don't know if that's the one. There's one that has Jennifer King that's involved with it. I'm not sure which conference you're talking about in New Orleans. But we got to figure out how to meet in person. We got to figure out how to meet in person. You're definitely one of those people that that we need to be like this, besties. Just because of the not just because of the connections that you have, but just because of the commonality of coaching people. There are not too many females that have coached football, that know the game. And so those are all need to be my best friends. So yeah, we'll have to connect on that part. So parents, be active in your kids. Yeah, Swing Cash is that's what I thought. I'm not going because I have a family reunion. It's 4th of July weekend, and I'll be in Huntsville. The Women in Sports conference is what she's talking about. Coach CeJai, there's a Women in Sports conference that Swing Cash is doing in New Orleans, but it's over the 4th of July weekend. I think it's next weekend, as a matter of fact. But I'll be in Huntsville for my family reunion. So I won't be able to make that. Anyway, so we're gonna wrap it up. Looks like we're having technical difficulties again. I thank you so much, Coach CeJai, for being on. Y'all, she is absolutely phenomenal. So if you look at her bio, you can see everything that she's doing. We haven't even touched on everything that she has had going on. Of course, I had to be connected to another female football coach that y'all have never heard about. She has coached on the junior college level. She has said she's put over 600 players in college and helped them to get into college. And so she knows what she's talking about as far as the recruiting process. Mr. Brown, thank you so much. Oh, you had a question up here. Kobe's death fractured the sport world up on hearing about how to affect the kids. Oh, gotcha. She's not on. So I hate that I missed that question for you, Mr. Brown. Cynthia, thank you for being on. And I wish I was making that Women in Sports conference, but I think I'm going to be a little bit more intentional with making those conferences going forth. Nikki, thank you for being on again. Susan, thank you for your group. If it hadn't have been for your group that you created for women that love football, I would not have had the opportunity of probably coming across Coach CeJai in order to get her on my podcast. And I can't wait until I book you on my podcast. I think we are slated for August the 21st, right after your Atlanta conference. And so I'm looking forward to that. And I think that's it. I thought she would pop back on, but she didn't pop back on. And anyway, guys, thank y'all for coming on. So y'all know that I'm on the board for the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame. So make sure that you get your tickets. Those tickets are available on the Layshoff website. If you go to www.laashof.com, it is located here in Kentucky. In Kentucky on September the 21st. And we have a whole host of new inductees. And some of those inductees will probably be future guests on here. Shout out to my Layshaw family. Shout out to my DCD family. Oh, I will be in Oklahoma City this weekend on Saturday. We made the playoffs. My Derby City Dynamite team made the playoffs. We go play the Oklahoma City something. I forgot what their name was, but I'll be in Oklahoma City on Saturday. So if anybody's in that area, make sure you pull up on me. And I love y'all, and I will see y'all next week. I forgot who I got next week, but y'all know I got somebody good on every week. And look forward to some of the local coaches. We've had a couple of new coaches changes in Lexington, but I'm looking forward to having some of our local coaches featured, because it's dead week. So this is dead week this week and next week. So we're trying to allow some of the coaches to kind of get a break. But I'll be trying to get them on. And if you guys know anyone else that wants to be a guest on my podcast, that would be a good fit. Just reach out to me in my inbox, or let them know, or have them reach out to me, and I'll look to see about whether or not we can get them on as a guest. And so we're on every Wednesday night at 9:00. But if we get booked or we need to schedule another day, I'm happy to be flexible as far as pulling up another day that we can have guests. Anyway, I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in, and y'all have a good one. And we'll see y'all next week.